Retail and hospitality is changing, with often complex and fragmented systems combined with large volumes of customer data for businesses to make sense of. It's critical to work with the right partners in order to guarantee success. At Tratec Consulting, we help retail and hospitality businesses transform their technology, removing overly bloated processes and creating unified and efficient systems of working throughout. So don't just take our word for it. See for yourself. Tratec Consulting, the leaders in technology transformation across retail and hospitality.
Hello, welcome to the All Things Borough podcast, the official podcast for Farnborough Football Club and sponsored by Tratec Consulting. Good evening, everybody watching us on YouTube. I'm Alan and I'm joined by Simon. And as you can see, we have got Millers on as well. But first, Simon, how are you doing? It's been a while. It's been quite a few weeks since we've done an episode.
Yeah, we've almost sort of semi-retired, haven't we, from podcasting?
Yeah,
we've moved on to the I've moved on to the radio. If anyone's heard my dulcet tones at 2:00 on a Saturday, sorry about that. Apologies. It'll get better as I get more comfortable. I hope. If not, I'll be booted off, and someone better will take over. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, it's been a few weeks, but thankfully we got Millers on tonight, which is good. Very good of him to join us. I mean, he's a very busy man though, because he's just got a newborn baby daughter, so he's looking like.
So we should start by firstly, Anthony, offering our congratulations to you for the new addition to the family.
Many thanks, chaps. Many thanks.
And we understand it's a baby girl, and obviously there was like speculation that was kind of started by Spencer in one of his post matches after, I can't remember which game it was, when he said that you were going to name your daughter after one of the goal scorers. So which happened on the day was Vicar Anthony, but can we exclusively reveal that you haven't called her Mika? But
well, it started. I think it was Hemel. I think it was either the Hemel game or the Cheshire game. It was a Saturday game at home, so there was a couple of journeys I couldn't do. I couldn't because my missus was very close to due date, so I couldn't do. I couldn't do the Torquay one, which I was devastated about. And I think it was a Saturday game between that and Bath, and I just said, "Look, chaps, because my missus was adamant it was going to be a little boy. There was a middle name up for grabs, and I just thought, right, God, just a laugh and a joke. Go on, whoever scores, and I was potentially naming the baby on who a likely goal scorer might be. So little Hakeem Millerick or something, something along those lines. The irony is so we did have a little girl, but Mika was actually in the running if it had been a boy. So I think if it had been a boy, that might have got through. That might have passed. It would have been quite a football story. But so we called her Mia, and that is so. What I've told the lads is I've dropped the C and I've dropped the H and got as close to Mika as I can to Mia.
Mia Antonio, I told. Mia Antonio was what I've been told, but
yeah.
Good going.
You should also explain to him, Millers, that now means that he can't leave the club as well.
No, absolutely. No, again, he's a lovely lad. He's been really, really good around the changing room. Obviously, we haven't seen him much, but what he has done, and the elation and the relief in that goal. So I was listening to that. Mia had just been born, and we were staying overnight. And right, okay, I'm here. Both Mrs. and baby were as fast asleep, and I was there. I was glued to that Farnborough radio, listening to it like I was with the Torquay game, and obviously when the goal went in, yeah, I could sense it down the radio, and then seeing the celebrations and things like that. So what Mika has done is been. If that is his moment this season, then what a moment! Yeah. He's a great lad around the change room.
You
Oh,
could
brilliant
wish for
stuff.
anyone to be to have a daughter named after someone like that. Could you really? You know what I mean? Ideal. You know, happy
Yeah,
day.
lovely lad.
Yeah,
Lovely lad.
good stuff. Yeah, he's good for the odd sort of 5-10 minute cameo, isn't he, Micker? He comes on, he does he likes to run at people and he gets around. I've only seen him once in live myself, and he got 5 minutes, I think, against I think it might have been Hemel, possibly.
Yeah, he's going with a lot of these lads. Just youth, the whole youthful exuberance.
Mm.
No, they play without fear, and they're not. A lot of them haven't been affected by anything that may or may not have gone on previously. So they just, they come in and they're a breath of fresh air. And him in particular, training as well. He's bright. He's already close with the player group, and he's well liked, which isn't always an easy thing to do when you're coming in at this stage of the season. So I don't know. You'd like to think, hopefully, should we get some relative level of comfort, that some of these lads who haven't featured much will get an opportunity to showcase truly what they're about and give us food for thought over pre-season. That's that.
No,
That's what they got to be looking at now. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're playing for their next contract, aren't they? Essentially.
absolutely, and they're all in the same boat, unless
Mm.
unless they're here for they've got a 2-year deal, or they've got an
Yeah.
automatic trigger of this one that extends on, regardless of whether it's at Farnborough Football Club or not. You never stand still in football. So
Mm.
yeah, potential suitors will be looking at what they do now, and
No,
there's no dead games.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're yeah. I'd like to think a few of these lads will, like I say, will get an opportunity, and then if they do well, there'll be something that we can do from next season. But time will tell.
absolutely. But look, let's go back to Simon said that the last time we spoke to you was 7 months ago now, I think, and you just sort of come into the club, doing your thing with the analysis and all that. But since then, things have changed. So people have gone out, coaches have gone out, players have gone in and out. You've sort of taken on a newer role now as, let's say, Spencer's right hand man. And you're getting more, and you're obviously now more involved in coaching and obviously on the touchline and that. But what's that been like? What's that
Well,
move been like?
well, so where I hadn't been in the dugout, I think it was 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons,
Hmm.
and I hadn't really missed it. No, I tell a lie. As director of football, I dipped my toe occasionally, um, and it was just when I arrived, it was nice. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being in
Hmm.
the gantry. There was never any pressure on me to. I wasn't really on the phone, like Spencer would be. I mean, God knows how many hours Spencer spends on the phone each week, sorting out our various problems. So there's none of that attached to it. I was far from essential on the training pitch. I'd go and I'd lend an opinion and take
Yeah.
take the odd bit, but yeah, again, it was a nice reintroduction into football, and I was quite happy with that. I had a little bit of disconnect with it all. Where I was in the gantry or away games in particular, I'd always take myself off to preferably the highest place,
Hmm.
in and around the ground, just so I could get a different look at it, a different set of eyes on it from a different angle. And sometimes when you're in the dugout, can be so emotive. You miss the obvious things,
Yeah.
or you
Yeah.
just don't see the full picture. But when you can emotionally disconnect and you just watch it for a game of football, you will see different things. So I enjoyed that. However, I knew I'd missed it the moment. I can't remember the game. I think it was Ebbsfleet at home where we'd been battered first half, and we made a few adjustments second half, and we got a really credible draw.
Hmm.
And being back down amongst it then, and being in the dressing room and engaging with the players, and trying to have a positive impact from the sideline, I thought, you know what, I have really missed this. I've really missed this, and and it's been like that since. I really enjoy it. I love working with the groups of players we've had, and obviously there have been various different groups at some stage. I've really enjoyed that. I've enjoyed the challenge of step two. I haven't felt overruled in any capacity by anyone or any side or any, maybe Worthing, when Worthing did well and truly pull our pants down away from home. I never felt, I haven't felt out of my depth or out of my comfort zone, and I think what everyone's been doing of late has had really positive impacts, and that's
Is
all you
that
can do.
because? Yeah, is that because just for you, like coaching is just coaching. It doesn't matter regardless of what level it is. I mean, obviously, people might get a bit anxious about being at a higher level because they're, I don't know, maybe they're anxious about how players at that level are going to perceive them or receive their instructions or even
Yeah,
interact with them.
I think I I don't think I think it's how you carry yourself, and if you have
Yeah.
conviction and you have belief in what you're saying, and then you
Mm.
can back it up. And I think with myself, because I have had more of an analytical background, or I'm looking at it from an analytical standpoint. I think when I presented things to players, even when I was upstairs, I'd come in and the odd time. I don't know. I called it 10 minutes a week with the group, and then stuff that I was doing individually with players. I think because I'd already done that, I never had any fear
Mm.
that such and such, because of the profile and the career they've had, they might not take what I'm saying seriously, or they might not look to enforce what they got to, but they might not look to take that onto the pitch. Just I just go in with a positive attitude that is sort of semi backed by evidence, so to speak. So, and if I give an opinion on Hakeem Sander, for example, Hakeem in October, November, all he wanted to do was drive inside with the ball, and he would look good because as we've seen, he's a great footballer. However, if just manipulate his positioning slightly, or the biggest thing for us was, Hakeem, you need to drive the line more, because if you make it so predictable for the opposition that you're going to come inside, they're all going to shift over. So
Mm.
you're no longer in a 1v1. But if you go the line a couple of times, or start from wider, and say the first two, you go on your left foot and you deliver with your left foot, what begins to happen is the centre halves don't come out. The centre halves believe that he's going to possibly have the beating of his guy down the line, and the ball's going to come into the box. So therefore, they won't come out as much. They'll stay more central, expecting a cross. So if Hakeem does that a couple of times, and this is the message, then that buys you the one to come inside, which is obviously his preferred option. That
Mm.
buys you the one to come inside because you're not running into traffic. So you just mix
Mm.
up your game, and it's little things like that. And if you can show or tell them, Hakeem, last game you had the ball 20 times and you came inside 18 times. It it's not just an opinion; it's also an opinion backed up with fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that has, yeah, I think that has helped me. But I don't think anybody should be. Like I say, if you've got honest, real belief and conviction in what you do, and and the players get that and they sense that confidence from yourself, which I know for some people, if you're stepping up, it can be hard. But stepping up doesn't always mean you're stepping into better. Obviously, you're
Mm.
stepping into money. In theory, teams should be more organised, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're organised the right way.
Mm.
I'm fairly fortunate that I've got a few friends in the management game and in the professional game who are fairly high profile, and they've always maintained that just because you go up, don't assume there's at any level there's always an idiot in football. Don't assume people are going to be better because they're not.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I will say that obviously at step two, teams are more organised. What they when they do things, they do it better. Players have got more individual quality, obviously, but a lot of them will still have a structure and will still have a particular way in which they want to play. And if you can disrupt that and you can identify that, then you've got a good chance of winning games of football. And I think that's what we're managing to do at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, really. But especially around wingers, because I played left wing a bit myself, and you do sometimes you want to go your
Not at
preferred.
this level, though, Simon.
No, not that level. Definitely not that level. No, no. It's quite a little bit lower, shall we say? But and on a different day. On the side. Anyway, you need to kind of mix up what you do, doesn't it? And because if you're too predictable, then it becomes a lot easier for defenses to deal with it, isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, strikers always want to go on their preferred foot. Fullbacks, only doing one thing. Like for example, you see it a lot. You see it a lot with passing sides, certainly at this level. Is what is their preferred pass? And it's like last night, for those who are Ebbsfleet, we identified at Chelmsford. We identified quite early that their centre halves weren't their triggers. Every time the ball went wide to their fullbacks, they wanted to pass inside, and if we were compact and we stopped that pass inside and or let the centre halves have it, that disrupted probably a lot of what they were trying to do and a lot of the ways they were trying to break us down and expose us. So it just gave them something different to think about. And because, I would say as well, is the times we did ride our luck. But if you can have a plan B and a plan C as a side or even as an individual player, and you have that level of unpredictability, then you make yourself a much harder opponent.
Yeah, I think looking at last night's game, actually, we've got to go on to talk about that. But we did that quite well because obviously they played Nico Lawrence in the middle, didn't we, as a sort of a holding midfielder. Then you had Remy and Alfie in there as well doing similar roles, sort of breaking things up, just almost like waiting for that inside pass, and then all three of them would go, wouldn't they, and try and win it back. And it did work quite well, to be fair. So kudos to yourself and Spencer there and also all the other coaching staff for sort of getting that right. But like I said though, it wasn't all sort of all kind of unicorns and happy days and rainbows because we were a bit fortunate. We did hang on a few times, didn't we, in that game? And they, if it could have gone, if we'd have been a bit like I think if the game had been 3 months previously, we'd have probably got beat by about 6 because that's the way our luck wasn't it? Every time they shot, it went in. So, but we have definitely got a lot more resilient in the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks, haven't we? And that's why results have come. I think.
Yeah, I fully agree. And a lot of that is, as I said previously, is people look at us and go, right, well, you've got a very young goalkeeper, you've got a very young left back, depending on who you're playing. Boyd very young, Stickland very young, and then Robbo, Nico. That is a young. It doesn't Louis Holtzman. Doesn't matter what combination you play. That is very young. And then Alfie holding midfielder. Yeah, that is a young core of a side, and it either goes one of two ways, which is either under pressure, under duress, they either capitulate or and go within themselves, or they do come with that whole youthful attitude towards it, and quite frankly, they're not fussed or not phased by the opponent or the individual opponent or the individual side because they've got real no knowledge of it. And I think that's what's happened. And I think they have been a breath of fresh air. They come with it with the absolute right attitude, and they're willing to work. And albeit their footballing futures probably aren't certainly at this juncture at Farnborough, they care. They care, and they brought something fresh to the dressing room, which everyone else is now fed off. And at the moment, it's a nice place to be, and it's a good place to play football. And if you get that right, then you're on. Well, certainly your fortunes will change. I believe they have done.
You said there that they care about the club and about the results and everything. Spencer has alluded to it as well. But how hard is it? I mean, obviously, I don't think. I'm assuming you don't have any sort of input into transfers and that at Farnborough, but you have done it before in the past at previous clubs as manager. How hard is it to find or to identify those kind of players that have that kind of right attitude because obviously at Farnborough we've brought in a lot over the years. We've brought in a lot of players, and for one reason or another, it hasn't worked. And same with this season, it hasn't worked. So there've been a lot of changes over the last 6 to 8 weeks. So how hard is it to
Yeah.
find that kind of caliber of player to have that attitude that you want?
So obviously the higher you go, they will do psychoanalysis on what the player's profile is, what kind of environments that they do well in, where they thrive, and ultimately where they fail. But we don't have that luxury, and
Yeah,
we certainly. I couldn't even tell you what level that starts to come in. So quite frankly, it's when you do your due diligence on a player. So again, because I don't have much to do with it. Occasionally, I might get asked, but that's as far as it goes. That's not my job. That's Spencer's job,
yeah,
and
yeah.
rightfully so. But the obvious one is you speak to people, you speak to other coaches, you speak to people, players about players currently in your dressing room about that person.
Hmm.
Well, you weigh it all up, and I mean myself previously, where I was a number one and I had a tiny budget, is I would have to take young players, not as good as what we've got here at Farnborough. I'd have to take a punt on young players that have missed out for whatever reason, cut-offs from the level above. But in particularly, I used to have rogues. I used to take rogues who had maybe misbehaved or been problematic in other areas, and
Hmm.
that's where I'd then go on a fact finding mission. Right, what is it about them that's made them a rogue? And then can I handle it? Do I
Yeah,
believe I can handle that? Will they fit in my dressing room? And ultimately, the answer is yes, which more than often it was, and there was a few failings within that as well. Then I'll take them on. So when we signed, because last time I spoke to you guys, I said, oh, I think I've come into this because I'm good in a dogfight. Because the season I perceived we were going to have ultimately has become the season that we've endured. But then 3 days after, or within a week of me speaking with you guys and saying, well, it could be this, it could be that, we then go and sign Billy Clifford, Don Polian, and Rax Bingham. I don't have any knowledge of these fellas, but all of a sudden the complexion of the season changes. Obviously, the fans have got that this it's created an excitement and a buzz around the place. That
yeah,
season might be different. Ultimately, it hasn't worked out. Those three players, albeit Rax is the only one left at the club, for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out, and it hasn't gone the way in which many of us expected it to go. Is that a fault on the manager for bringing those players in? No, because those players on paper and at times this season and on the training ground are exceptional footballers. Um, is that is it a fault of the player for not doing more? Again, it's hard. It's hard. Okay. Sometimes it just doesn't work. It just
yeah,
doesn't work. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't click. And let's be frank. Apart from a few little moments, it yeah, it hasn't clicked when it should have. And I think that's where there's no point in doing it now. There's zero point in doing it now. But at the end of the season, you look back and go, right, what have we learned? What have we learned from this? And
mm,
ultimately, you look inward. So everybody does, player, club, management staff. You go, right, okay, what could we improve on? And that that is a discussion that needs to happen when this season is complete and dust is settled, and we know where the land lies. So
Has there been yeah, I totally agree with you. Sometimes I always use the analogy of Mo Salah when he was at Chelsea. It just didn't work, did it? And now look what happened. 3-4 years later, he's like a world's best player almost. Sometimes it doesn't work, does it? And I'm not trying to make the analogy with Billy and Dom to Mo Salah, obviously, but it's the analogy is there. But yeah, it was going back to what you said about dressing room being a nice fun place. In your own sort of mind, was there ever an issue in the dressing room at Farnborough during the season? Was there ever problems there or
Yeah,
personality clashes, things
well,
like that?
yeah. The biggest issue was we weren't winning games,
Mm.
Yeah.
and when you're not winning games of football, people will always players will ultimately they've got something they have something built into their system, which is the self protection mode, and so a player will often not look at themselves and will always look at another reason why it's not why they haven't been as good, and it might be you know player X at the back, or the goalkeeper, or a particular member of coaching staff, or the environment. So players will always do that, but I don't believe I have I don't think there's been a bad egg.
Mm.
Yeah, every player is different, and they will approach a game, and their attitude towards football will be different to the next. And for every ultimate professional you have who will watch every clip that Spencer puts onto the group, will listen intently to every bit of analysis I do, will look at their bodies are a temple. For every one of those, there'll be someone who doesn't maybe enjoy football quite as much. It is more of a job to them. Um, money might be more of a motivational factor than anything else, but it doesn't mean they're good or bad. And again, it's on us as coaching staff, management, to find out what that player motivator, what their motivating drive is, um, and try and make it the best possible football environment it can be for them all to succeed. So it, I know the changing room has been hostile. Of course, it's been hostile at times because ultimately, and I said it after the Enfield game, doesn't matter who you are when you've been beaten the way in which we were beaten by a relegation rival at the time, in the manner in which we did, and a second half where we weren't at it at all, and it did look. I'm sure. Well, I think it looked from fans that some of the players are down tools, and that can never ever happen. So
Mm.
I don't care whether the players like each other. I don't. I prefer it if they do. I prefer it if they're close. I prefer it if you go in and it's bubbly and it's laughy and it's jokey. But at the same time, if it isn't and they're in there having a fight, which has also still got its place in football, it doesn't matter as long as we're winning games. And when you're not winning games of football, you're going to get that. And yeah, it was away from on the training ground where there's less pressure. Yeah, of course, it's better, and the players will laugh and joke with each other. But no, sometimes during those hard winter months, the changing room could be it could be quite a lonely place for some of these lads, I'm sure, because we weren't at it. And the easiest way, it was not an easy way, but the best way to alleviate that simply is to win games of football, and then the whole world looks a much better place.
Yeah,
As it does at the moment.
you're dead right, Millers. I mean, everything looks a lot better and nicer and rosier when you're winning football matches. Doesn't matter, even if it
Absolutely.
actually isn't. But people on the outside looking in, thinking, yeah, they're either picking up results, they're picking up 1-0s, 2-0s, a good defensively, but really good organisation. They'll use other ways to get to sort of skirt around any issues, won't they? So it always looks better when you're winning. But when you're not winning, even if the dressing room is really good, you're not winning matches. Maybe you're just not good enough. Maybe all the other teams are better than you. You know, there's just nothing you can do about it. And I think
And
going on the Enfield game, I think that was the case really in that game. They just turned up and were on it from word go. And we were a bit slightly off it, and we're maybe a bit leggy. Certainly first half, and everything that they shot went in, didn't it? Really, with that in that first sort of.
yeah, there's been two games this season where so it was Hampton at home where we didn't get going, and in Enfield,
Yeah.
and the result was a disaster at half time. But the performance, I think I might have done an interview on this actually for the main club. I didn't think the performance at half time. I thought the result absolutely flattered the opposition. And it was manipulation at that point on certain things to ensure it doesn't happen again. next goal's the big one. All the usual sort of things that people would say. However, the second half was that deplorable and that bad, and with a distinct lack of know-how, knowledge, and perceived effort. That is criminal. That and it was criminal. And I think I said it. I said it to the player group. Oh, it might have been the Chippenham game. It was the game. Yeah, it was. I think it was the Chippenham game because we went one and the other pressure game. I said, look, whatever happens here today is win or lose. Is we cannot. Saturday was a stain on us all, and it doesn't matter what you've achieved in football. Doesn't matter if you're here at the end of the season or not. When we walk off that pitch in that moment, we look like absolute mugs. And nobody when it's been that bad, nobody's come out of any credit, and it is a reflection on and a failing on all of us as a collective. And whatever happens here at the Chippenham game, win or lose, is we walk off saying we have all done as much as physically possible in order to get something for the side. And the Chippenham game, we showed a lot of character that day because we did have. I thought we were largely in control. I thought we were a better side, and then we've given away, a bad a set piece goal, and all of a sudden, in games previous, we go on and lose that game, and then you're all scratching your head at the end of it, going, we were really really good for 70, 75 minutes. How on earth has that happened? But we showed character, and I think that's when I came off it, and I thought, you know what, there's something here. I think it was Michael Stickland's first game as well. Boyd had been here for a while, and you could see straight away with Stickland, this boy is a very good player, and he is going to go on and have a good footballing career. Well, right, actually, we're okay. We're okay. They've shown some character. They've shown a bit of know-how in what was asked of them that day. They were able to go and apply. They've been largely the better side, and in a pressure game like this, they've come out the victors. So we've got something to build on here, and let's go. And like I say, talk about change rooms. It is. I think some of those characters coming in have made it, and winning games of football, and not getting beaten at some of the tough places we go. It's definitely a change. Definitely.
You did right, mate. I mean, I think character's the correct term. I think really they've showed a bit of character. Going from Enfield, sort of drew a line under it. I know Spencer was fuming after the game, and he was really disappointed and downbeat, as everyone would be, getting beat 5-0 at home. But then the Chippenham game, I agree with you. We were sort of largely in control. It wasn't a very good match. It wasn't a very good game from both our point of view and them really. But it was never going to be, was it though? Because
No,
aren't you?
no,
And we managed to nick a goal at the end and win it, which was really really good. And obviously since then we showed real good character going away at Ebbsfleet and Torquay, getting 2-2 draws. I mean, both games, if we played them, 3-4 months previously, we'd have got beat there, in both of those away games. So I think there is character in the dressing room, and then obviously you back it up also when going away at Bath, another massive sort of relegation 6-pointer to the corner phrase, and then we nick a late goal and win that, and with Mika's goal, and then we were a bit unfortunate against Maidstone, where again we probably should have got at least a point in that game. But but all the time we're looking at results and we're stringing performances together, which is what you want, and it breeds confidence in the group, doesn't it? That.
Yeah, of course it does. It gives you something to build on, and our momentum at the moment is okay. It's not bad at all. Yeah. So that's what it is. Now between now and the end of the season, there's no point of even looking. I mean, of course, people will do, and players will do. We all do. Of course, we all look at the league, but literally worry about the next game. Yep. Try and keep this feel good factor going. Keep this belief going. Yeah. And I said it. I might have said it to one of the directors. I might have said it in the bar after one of the games because, as you know, I started going into the main bar, speak with fans. I felt a couple of weeks ago that once we had a good win where it was comfortable, a la Saturday, which I did feel second half was very comfortable, that we had the capability of going on and winning a string of games. So I think at this point, I wouldn't. Let's be my message to the player group is: let's not talk about relegation. Let's not talk about obviously the importance of every game is there, but it should be anyway. But let's not just try and get over a line. Let's not try and hit a certain point tally. We've had a stinky season, and which not everybody's been involved in. But for the fans have endured as well. Let's go and win games of football and enjoy doing it. And 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 who cares what the point tally is at the end of it? We go with that attitude. I've got no doubt that we'll win. We'll win games of football. Let's see where we are, and I'm sure we'll be fine.
Absolutely. I think now with this group of players that we have got in the squad now, who, as you said, they're doing really good things and all of that, and they're playing really, really well and showing good confidence and good, as you say, good character. I think with the few games that we have left, I think now it's just about just concentrating on what we can do and not worrying about everybody else around us. Because as soon as you start looking, like you say, as soon as you start looking at the teams around us and worrying about how many points they've got and whether they've won or lost on a particular day, that's when things start falling apart again. Just
Of course it is.
concentrate on what we've got to do.
We cannot affect what Bath or Chippenham do.
No, of course not. No.
We've got zero influence over that. So why bother? Why care?
Yeah, no, exactly.
We'll just worry about what we can affect, and the only thing we can affect is going to get a decent points tally in the next 6 games and playing good football and playing in the structures in which we've been doing for the last month, 5 weeks, however long it's been, where we've perceived to turn the corner. Let's worry about that, and undoubtedly at the end of the season, there'll be a player turnover. So if you're enjoying your football, you want it to last. So just enjoy playing as a group, fellas. Enjoy the challenges of whoever we're playing against, and what will be will be.
Well, I would say I think now this current run of form, it's the first time we've won back-to-back games since December. Which is something, which is good. Good that's happening now. I think we're turning our form. We're turning our form around at the right time. We've also there's a 5-point gap now to the relegation places, which is good. Gives us a bit of a buffer. And even if Bath win their 2 games in now, and they're still 4 points behind us, I think it's good. And we've got 6 games left. Has there already been any talk of sort of targets? I know there's kind of there's the magical 50-point mark usually.
I mean, of course, the players will talk. Not from Spencer hasn't given a defined target. Like I said, it's natural. I've done it. I've looked at what point tallies have previously been safe. I've looked at who the opposition have got yet to play. But I just stopped myself, gone right. Okay, again, what's the point? So there isn't. But you look at that group of games, and I think there's points there. You got. I'm not saying that they do, but there's we're going to sides, some of which their seasons are largely done, and there's the old saying in football, some of these sides may or may not be on the beach. So, but regardless, with the way we're going now, we've got nobody to fear. We've got nobody to fear. So we could be playing tabletoppers. Well, even the Dorking game, you guys saw. We had a good go there. It doesn't matter, fellas. Let's go win games of football, and I'm sure within that group of games, there's good points to be had. I've seen it. I've seen it on the fans' form already. Hawaiian shirt at Tossen. Let's make sure that's a good fun day where everybody can enjoy themselves.
Yeah, I'll reiterate that. I mean, I'm at a wedding that day, so I won't be going. But I might have to. I have asked her to cancel the wedding, but she's having none of it. So it's not my wedding, by the way. I should add. It's I'm hoping to go down. Obviously, 12:30 kickoff as well on the last day of the season. But yeah, it'd be nice if it's done and dusted by then, wouldn't it? We don't want to be going the last day.
Yeah,
needing the point.
Regardless of the fans think they deserve it or not, but I'd like that the last home game of the season. Afterwards, I'm led to believe there might be a presentation in the bar after. But don't hold me to that. I just heard talk of that yesterday. But I'd like that day. I'd like to walk around that pitch, clap the fans, come over and speak to a few, and go. I'm one that I I hate it. I hate it when sides celebrate staying up, and like when you see all the just that euphoria of staying up, and there's a massive pitch invasion and things like that. I'm not calling for that, but because the group has changed so much, and you look at the players who started the first game of the season as to those who will finish the season. I would love for just a good collective coming together at the end of the season and go, look, all right, it's not been great, but this existing player group, some of which have only been here a short while, that have come into this pressure cooker environment where we've got to win games. I think they do deserve some kudos. I do think that the current player group do deserve some kudos to be getting us out of this situation we found ourselves in. Yeah, that it's not a big celebration, but on the day, I would certainly feel like that as well.
Yeah,
I think that'd be important. I think that'd
Yeah,
be
I think it's more of a when people say you shouldn't celebrate staying up. I think you're right, but also it's kind of a it can be a more of a release of the pressure, isn't it? Because you're under no matter what happens, you're under pressure every single match, aren't you? When you're down the bottom, knowing you need to get more points than the teams above you, and it's a pressure thing.
Yeah.
And when you finally do it, it's a release, isn't it? And people do lose their head sometimes, but I think you're right. You do need to sort of take it into context and think, yeah, okay, we've done really well to get ourselves out of a sticky situation we may have got ourselves in. But yeah, there needs to be a little bit of hindsight, so maybe we shouldn't have been down in the first place. So yes, good.
Yeah.
We've done that. We saved ourselves, but in context, we shouldn't be here anyway. I mean, that sort of attitude, really.
No,
Yeah, but I agree with you, really, in what I'm trying to say.
So, but chaps, I don't have long left because my phone I think is going to die. The baby hasn't started screaming yet, but my phone, I think it's going to be my phone that's going to go.
No, that's all right. No worries. Yeah, well, I was thinking we'd probably call it a day there anyway.
Yeah.
You've given us a really nice insight into what's been what the season's been like, really, Millers, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, thanks very much for coming on. I know you're busy, man.
Pleasure. Anything else before this phone goes?
Yeah, just before we go, just have a quick message out to the fans as well, for the coming games and for the rest of the season, just to give them a bit of support, give us a bit of support.
Yeah, I think I think the fans have been brilliant last few games. 700 there the other day, but last night, that's good. It was a miserable, cold, horrible Wednesday night, and likewise on Saturday, you can hear it. Yeah, Dorking. The amount that went to Dorking, and it does give everybody a boost when we can see it and we can hear it. And something for myself personally is I will always answer questions as openly and as honestly as what I can. So I am in the bar. I will go into the main bar now after home games. If you want to ask something, come in and see me, and I will be as open as I can, because I'm sure that there have been and are a lot of frustrations with what's happened, and rest assured, with myself, the coaching staff, Woody, Nick, young Sam, Spencer, and this player group are doing all we can to to still be at this good level next season. We want it, and the more you can support and the more we can come together, I know that's cliche, the more chance we'll have, and the more chance, more importantly, we'll have of leaving Saturday with a smile on our face, and everyone goes, okay, win or lose, I enjoyed that. I actually enjoyed that, and so I'm actually looking at the Tottenham game. I haven't told the missus this yet, and I like the idea of the Hawaiian theme shirts. I might see if I can get them supporters bus that day as well and have a little.
Well, you might regret saying that. Here's a 12:30 kickoff, so a few people are going to be probably either still hungover from the night before on a Friday, or they're going to be struggling to down as many beers as they would do usually at that time of day. But you might have had a result there. But yeah,
but the fans, look, it has. We do appreciate you, honestly, we do, and the more support you can give us between now and the end of the season, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, like I say, nobody's got any excuses Saturday. There's no football on, so it's National League Day. non-national
there you go.
day. So and there's loads of offers going on. The club have released those today. So have a look on the club website.
Brilliant.
There's plenty of offers going. So there's no excuses not to come. Just make it a nice party atmosphere. Give Horn Church a bit of a run for their money, because obviously they're going for going for a playoff place, aren't they? And maybe automatic promotion. But it's a good game. It's a good game to have on non-league day, really, because they're at both ends of the table, isn't it? So it should be a good one. So get down to Fortress Cherrywood, and we'll hopefully we can get a third win on the trot for the first time this season and extend our unbeaten run. That'd be nice. Yeah,
brilliant stuff.
Right, cheers, Millers. Thanks very much.
What we'll do, we'll let you go. We'll let you log off, and then me and Simon will carry on chatting for a couple of minutes. See you soon.
Cheers, mate. See you Saturday. Take care, mate. All the best. There he goes. He's off.
That was Millers, everybody. That was Millers.
Whether he came off with on the corner, his phone ran out of charge. Who knows? But anyway, happy days.
No,
like I said, we were saying at the end. Sorry, we were saying at the end there. The non-league days, you've got no excuses not to come down. Get on the club website. There's loads of. If you're a blue light badge holder, you're armed forces, under 14. If and they're also doing. You get in free. If you've got a season ticket for a Premier League team, and Aldershot and Woking, because they're both not playing or away. Come in, you get in for free. And they're also doing a half-time competition where if you buy a golden goal ticket and it's got an X on the back, you get a go at trying to land the ball as close to the centre circle as you possibly can at half time. So loads of stuff. Check the website. I had a quick look before we started our episode. So loads of stuff going on. So it should be a really good fun day to make the most of it. Because we probably won't get a home game on National League non-league day for the next 9 years.
Another 10 years.
Make the most of it. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff.
But that's non-league, National Non-League Day. Hornchurch at home on Saturday. Get your tickets. Get and show the support. It's going to be a tough game, obviously, but look, we're on a good run. Good run of form. Well, a good run, but a couple of wins on the bounce, and they need all the support they can get.
Yeah, hopefully Hornchurch will bring a few with them as well, make it a really good atmosphere. So
the Slough game, we had a good attendance, over 1,000 in attendance at Slough.
Yeah, Slough brought about 50 or 60 with them. So that was good. So
I think even last night against Slough it was probably 700, which is again is quite good for a midweek.
Yeah, it was honestly it was flipping freezing last night. God, I was really cold. It was very cold, so I don't blame people not coming in. Plus, it's it's a Wednesday night. People have got things to do, and but you've got no excuse for Saturday, so you come down really. But it's good. Yeah, I like what Miller said. He's a positive guy. I think that's why Spencer likes having him around in the dugout. You sometimes need a bit of positivity. Spencer's always looking at as a very much the opposite of that.
We've noticed as well, haven't we, Simon, that since he's become more in the dugout after Bakes left, that the players do seem to sort of feed off him, and they do seem to react.
Yeah,
what he's saying and doing.
Yeah, I think that's kind of that coincides with the type of players we've got there. They're younger, so they're probably a little bit more upbeat anyway, and they're looking to play. It's actually nice. I was going to say to Millers, it's actually nice to see that there's young players actually that want to go out and get first team experience, because there's a lot of them who just want to sit in the under 21s, under 18s, even and under 23 teams, and just sort of play out there and hope they get a contract with their clubs. But it's very important for them to get first team adult football, and it's good for their development. Exactly. So and it's good to see. And we have, as Miller's alluded to, we've managed to get hold of some through Spencer's very good recruitment and contacts, that we've managed to get some really good players. Like Stickland is an excellent centre back. You've got obviously Toby Bowers has been with us quite some time. Boyd Bowcroft is a really good right back. He's got a really good attitude, and obviously Hakeem coming in as well is great. And you've got the people on the bench as well that are coming on and making a difference as well. So yes, I think it's a really good positive time at the Borough. Now finally, it's taken sort of 6 months to get there, but it's better late than never. I think we're peaking at the right time though. You'd rather be doing it now than the other way around, and now obviously you'd rather have the points in the bag already and over the sort of 50-point mark and relax. But at least you're going into games knowing, you're thinking, there's a little bit of pressure involved, and I would like to add a word of caution. Even though we've had some good results, we're not out of the woods yet. It's only 5 points difference, so that we need to carry on winning games. I think we probably need at least 2 wins and a draw, possibly 3 wins, and we'll be.
I think we talked about it the other on Saturday. I think two wins minimum, I think will see us safe.
Well, that'd give us 49 points. 2 wins and a draw, 50 points. I think you'd be safe on 50 probably. But Bath just got a new manager now, and in Eastbourne have changed their manager twice this season already. So and you got Enfield won the other night as well. So there's no when the pressure's on, these teams know they need to win games, and they're in a winning situation. But fortunately, we've got the points in the bag. We're
Well,
ahead.
that's it.
So
At this stage of the season, the part of the table, part of the games that you want to be watching, are the games at the top where they're fighting for the playoffs of the championship, and the teams at the bottom where they're fighting against relegation. It's that middle group, like Miller said, that middle group of teams are already half got a foot on the beach already.
Hopefully, yeah.
I mean, they know they're safe. They're not going up or down.
Yeah, apart from this Hornchurch game this Saturday, we've got all of. I looked at our fixtures when we had 9 games to play, and only Hornchurch were the only team not between 10th and 18th. So and they're the sort of middle places, probably not going to make the playoffs, not going to go down. So our last home game of the season is Tonbridge, and I spoke to our contact there already, and they're already sort of looking to next season already.
Hornchurch.
So,
looking at the table now, Hornchurch, they're sitting 4th at the minute. So I mean, they've got everything to play for, really. So they're going to be coming. They're going to be coming on Saturday with real intent.
Yeah,
and we've got to match that.
For anybody neutral who's listening, I don't know why they would be, but if they are, I think it's actually a really good game because you've got both teams have got something to play for, like a lot to play for, really. And we've got our sort of the players' livelihoods depending on it, really. You don't want to get relegated down to the Southern League because teams. I think in the last 10 years, I read something the other day. The last 10 years, teams that relegated from our division into the Southern Premier, not one of them's got promoted back the next season. So so it's tough once you go down. It's really difficult to go. And also, there's only one automatic place there, and you've got teams in that league like Walton are probably going to go up this season. They've been trying for 3 years to get into the National South, and you've got Farnham has spent a lot of money. Shoalin have got in some ex-Farnborough players as well, and I think they've got three ex-Farnborough players playing for them at the moment. Gosport, we've got Ben Greenwood's down there with Michael Fernandez. Some really, really good players and really, really good teams. And then there's no struggle. Bracknell have obviously had a really struggling season. They were spending a lot of money, and they've really struggled in that division. So yeah, I think there's a few rumours and chat about it might be a good thing if we got relegated. It wouldn't be the worst thing. But for me, I think it'd be terrible because I don't think we'd go back up. We'd really struggle. It's a real tough. You think this league's tough
league to get out of. It definitely is.
It is, yeah. It's really, really tough. But I'm glad we've sort of. Well, I'm not going to say turn the corner just yet, but we're certainly in decent form when we're playing well as well, which is good. And getting Joe Duncan in, we didn't really get a mention really, but getting Joe Duncan in goals improved things a lot. So I feel a bit sorry for Tommy Reid. Obviously, he came in and did a fairly decent job in difficult circumstances. And but Joe Duncan seems to cut above him really. Unfortunately for Tommy, and he's a good goalkeeper. Made a couple of really good saves last night as well, which he seems to be doing on a regular basis. So it's good times. I'm almost, I would say, exciting times. But I think that's probably overplaying it a little. But it's certainly good. It's good, and Borough are playing well. And they've got some exciting players on both wings. Got Mason's in form as well. I mean, he played really well last night. By the way, he didn't score, but his hold up play is excellent. He works really hard for the team, and he's a great guy as well. You know what I mean? So we've got people in there like that, and the midfield players they're all putting a shift in, putting the foot in where they need to, and trying to win the ball back and then breaking. It's really good. Courtney, nice to see Courtney Senior play really well last night as well. Got man of the match, and he took his 2 goals really well. So yeah, it's good. It's good. Long may it continue.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right, I think we'll leave it there, Simon.
Yep.
Great to have Miller on. Miller's on again. I'm sure we'll get him on at some point towards the end of the season as well, regardless of what happens at the club.
Yeah, we'll hopefully have Spencer on as well at the end of the season, do a bit of a review. He has promised he'll come on and review it, which would be great. And he's always...
Has he actually promised, or was that you just mixing his words?
I say promised, Yeah,
exactly.
No, exactly. He did say he just start the season, end of the season is his thing really. It doesn't bother with the middle bits. We have got a couple of upcoming episodes coming up. We've got one next week with I won't say who it is, but it's the former coach at Farnborough. He's going to come and have a chat with us about his time at Farnborough and also with his current club. Yeah, if Alan's curious, don't know who he is. You should do. I'll tell him off
I have
air.
no idea who this
I'll tell
is.
him off air. And we also got a few things lined up as well coming up next few weeks. So we'll have a few episodes going. I also just wanted to mention it's not too
You need to
late.
remember, Simon. You need to tell me days and dates as well because I have other
I've sent
content.
you them already. You should read the messages. So they said ignoring them, just swiping them away, just to actually read them for a change.
Oh yeah, they ignore
It's
most
not
things
all
from you.
the memes I'm sending you. You actually read these ones. And also it's not too late to contribute to Jordan Tunnicliffe's GoFundMe page either. By the way, he needs 15 grand. He's nearly there, but every penny counts for him. Really, you know. Bear in mind, it's not just his knee that he needs to try and sort out. He's going to be as he's got a long layoff. Can't work probably for a good 6 months of that time, and also he's
Yeah.
got an 8-month-old boy as well. So if you do have a few quid spare in your pocket and think, should I go down a pub and have a couple of beers? Well, actually, instead of doing that, we'll give Jordan £10 instead of staying and get a microwave meal instead, just the once. So yeah, happy days.
Yeah,
Maybe,
no, absolutely, well said, and it's good that the money that's been donated so far has been as good as it has been. Because also,
yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, if anyone,
experience with Cooley as well,
yeah,
happening with Cooley,
yeah.
no one, I don't think anyone really would have thought that the same would happen again
No, it's fantastic.
twice,
It's brilliant for the
but it has, and
non-league
it's
non-league
fantastic from
community in
all the
football. Is
fans.
fantastic, isn't it? It's really good, and they all come together and they can see.
Also as well with Jordan's GoFundMe page, we should have a little shout out to Wrexham and Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney who
Yeah,
donated a hefty chunk of that
yeah.
money.
They did half the target by themselves, which
Yeah,
was really great.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really fantastic. Yeah, I was
yeah.
actually funny enough. I
So
was talking to Cooley on the after the Slough game, and he was saying that him and Jordan had spoken, and he said really need to set something up because I'm really
yeah,
struggling. Don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I don't know if I'll even bother coming back to play. I don't know what I'm going to do with my knee. And he said he was really down, and he did say that um, it's going to be difficult for me and all that. But Corey said, what you need to do, set up a GoFundMe page and try and get your former clubs involved because you've been at some really big clubs,
yeah,
like Wrexham and
yeah. And
Kidderminster,
it shows.
Crawley.
It shows that he's still well liked and well thought of
Yeah,
by
he's
previous
if,
clubs and previous coaches,
yeah, and
previous
if you haven't
owners.
and if you haven't checked out the so I've got some
Spit it
rustling
out.
around it.
Don't forget we are recording, Simon.
Yeah, I've got someone. My sister's coming in, rustling away. Kind of what she's doing. But yeah, don't. I lost my
You
train of
might as
thought
well
completely.
stop. I'm cutting this bit out anyway because
Yeah, yeah, cut it out. I
you've
don't know what I was
ruined
going to
it.
say. I've forgotten it. Um, anyway, yeah.
Right, just leave it there.
She
Leave it there.
lost my train of thought completely. All it is rustling.
Good,
Um,
good.
so there we are.
But
Anyway,
look, right, look,
that's live
listen.
podcasting for you. There you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's not live, Simon. But look, thanks everybody for thanks everybody for watching tonight's episode on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because we need the subscribers. It all helps with the analytics as well with the subscriptions and all the views as well. So keep it coming, keep it going, and it means that we can keep going. That's the main thing. So yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks, maybe, or next week. Sorry, yeah, with another episode next week. So stay tuned, and we'll see you all very soon.